Welcome to Thriver's Ed, the podcast that's all about giving you the practical, no-nonsense advice you need to level up your life and business. I'm your host, Marcy Rossi, success coach, business strategist, and alcohol-free enthusiast. If you're ready to crush your goals, optimize your productivity, and live your best, most authentic life, then you're in the right place. Each week, we'll dive into topics like the psychology of success, practical strategies to boost your performance, and the unexpected ways living alcohol-free can elevate your life. Whether you're looking to boost your business, improve your health, or simply become a better version of yourself, Thriver's Ed is here to help you do just that. So grab your iced coffee, buckle up, and let's get thriving. Let me paint you a picture. So you've put in the work, you've built this amazing offer, maybe you even have a full fancy funnel around it. And now you're ready to launch. So you start posting about it. You're sending out all of your launch emails to your list and crickets. No one is buying from you. And so you're sitting there wondering what went wrong, right? Was it priced too high? Do you maybe need to switch up your sales page? Maybe right now it's just not the right time for you to launch your offer and it should have been pushed back to the future. Those could be it, but there's a piece that often gets overlooked, and I think it's at the heart of most underperforming offers, and that is trust. Now, this is one of those topics I wished more people talked about in a grounded and tactical way, not this like vibe or feeling, because trust is strategic. It's measurable. It's based on how we as human beings evaluate risk. And so today we're going to break that down. Why trust matters so much in the buying process, how it shows up in your business, what breaks it, and most importantly, how you can start building it into everything that you're doing. So let's start with some data. According to a Harvard Business School professor, 95% of purchase decisions are based on emotion, and trust is a key part of that. Now that's a huge deal because when you layer on like high-touch service-based businesses, things like coaching, consulting, freelancing, the stakes are even higher. Because now the question isn't just, do I trust your website or do I trust this particular product? It's, do I trust you? So I wanted to dive into a little bit of buyer psychology here. Why do people hesitate to buy when they clearly have a need or they want the solution that you're offering? Well, buying is an emotional decision that we rationalize later with logic. In the moment when we're making that decision, our brains aren't just looking at the value, they're also processing the risk. In our brains, the amygdala, this is the part of the brain that's responsible for fear, and it lights up when uncertainty is present. This is the part of us that gives that fight or flight. So when there's uncertainty, we are ready to fight or flight. That's why even simple purchases can trigger hesitation. And then the more expensive it is or the bigger of the investment, the more the brain flags this as a potential threat. Even if they trust you a little bit, there's still some uncertainty there. Is this particular thing going to work for me? Will I regret this? And those kind of questions can hold them back. Another phenomenon at play here is cognitive biases, like loss aversion. This is where people are more afraid of losing something valuable than they are excited about gaining something. In fact, studies show that we feel the pain of loss about twice as strongly as the pleasure of a win. So when they're looking at your offer and thinking, oh man, this is going to help me so much, there's still that aspect of fear, that wanting to avoid a big loss, whether that's time, money, embarrassment, shame, whatever it is that could be involved if purchasing from you isn't exactly what it was that was cracked up to be. Another piece of the puzzle here is decision fatigue. Right? Your audience is making like 1,000 choices every single day, and your offer is just one more of those choices. So if their brains are tired or unsure, they're just going to walk away. That's why trust building is so important, because it's going to reduce that risk and that hesitancy to run. Another psychological factor at play here is social proof, which taps into our innate desire to belong. If other people like us are buying, then we feel safer buying too. And when someone hears your story and they start to see themselves in it, their hesitation decreases because if you can do it, then they can do it too. Consistency also helps in here, right? If you're showing up reliable, people start to see you as dependable, which relaxes their nervous system. Another issue at play here is the fear of failure. If someone's been burned in the past, they may hesitate even harder the next time around. And that's why addressing these past buyer wounds can help. Acknowledge their skepticism. Be the person that says, I see you, I understand why you might feel this way, and here's how I do things differently. And finally, in terms of these psychological aspects here, the trust has to come before the pitch, not necessarily during it. That means in your content, your presence, your messaging, all of this together is going to help reduce uncertainty, validate their fears, and then show them the transformation that is possible for them. All right, so what breaks trust? This could be overhyped language that makes that offer sound way too good to be true. It's the lack of social proof, right? No screenshots, no testimonials, no case studies, nothing. An unclear or lengthy process can break trust. A sales page that hides the price or buries all the important details. And then finally, that people feel like they just don't know you. So if you're delivering value left, right, and center, but your audience still has that disconnect, if they haven't seen you show up with consistency, they're not hearing from you regularly, you haven't shared your story or given them a reason to believe in your particular method, then they're just not going to buy. So trust is a currency, and the good news is that there are tangible ways to earn it. So let's talk about 8 ways that you can do exactly that. The first I've touched on quite a bit already, but that is to leverage authentic, underlined authentic social proof. So when people see that others have had a great experience with your offer, they're much more likely to trust it. Think about the last time you bought something on Amazon. If you're anything like me, you automatically sort by average customer review. That's how we even filter down when there's way too many choices. We can easily weed out things that other people don't seem to like. That is the power of social proof. And according to Bright Local's 2025 survey, 42% of consumers trust online reviews from strangers as much as personal recommendations from people that they know. Now, this is a significant drop from 79% back in 2020, but that's still a huge chunk of the market, right? 42% of consumers are willing to trust reviews from strangers, so why would we not want to elicit and promote those reviews? But it's not just about volume, right? It's authenticity, which I think is why we've seen that drop from 79% to 42%. Testimonials that feel scripted or that look too polished and too fake, they're just not going to work. Your audience is smart. They can tell when something is fake. So please don't use something, just making up testimonials just to say that you'll have it. Actually, I was giving a guest expert presentation about trust a while back, and I used an example that I found online. So Kajabi has placeholder testimonials in a lot of their templates, and honest to God, you would be amazed at how many people, one, didn't change a damn thing, like just left that testimonial on their sales page. It's still there promoting it as if that was a real person. And two, people who changed just a few words to suit their purposes. Now, at least for the first one, you can argue that maybe they just forgot to change the testimonial. It was just left in the template and they forgot to delete that section. But the second one is just sketchy AF. So please don't do this. It erodes trust for all of us when we do this. And it's not going to lead to the kind of long-term customer interactions that you're hoping for if you're building on a sandy foundation made up of lies. That's why I love using screenshots from real conversations, DMs, text messages my clients have sent me in their client portals. These are raw and believable and written by humans. Bonus points if these can somehow include elements of timing, like just 3 weeks into the program, I booked my first client. That shows demonstrable progress. You can also use video testimonials, which adds an emotional connection and adds onto that layer of authenticity, because hearing someone's voice builds trust. Another option here is to share the messy. These testimonials don't have to say that you turn someone from making $0 to $1 million a month in 2 weeks, right? They don't have to be these over-the-top testimonials. Honestly, something like, I was really skeptical, but I'm so glad I did it. That kind of thing is honest and builds credibility. It tells your audience that you don't have to be a perfect person in order to get this, insane result. You can get benefits simply from trusting the process. And finally, don't forget to sprinkle these testimonials throughout your site, not just at the bottom. People scan through websites, so give them little anchors along the way, building that trust. Okay, number 2 is add a money-back guarantee, where it makes sense, of course. Now, this can be scary, but it really doesn't have to be, because it's not necessarily this invitation to be taken advantage of. It builds trust. Why? Because people fear wasting money. And when you remove that fear, you remove the friction in the buying process. And it doesn't have to be this complicated legalese type of guarantee. It can be simple, like love it or get your money back within 7 days. Or try the first module. If it's not what you expected, I'll refund you. You can set these things up in just about any platform that you have. Some of them make it easier than others, but there are ways to make sure that you're granting people access and then revoking that access should you, of course, have to refund them. But you can set boundaries on this, right? You can require them to have completed a certain percentage of the course, or to leave you feedback, or to only be within a certain amount of time. You can set whatever rules that you want, but just the fact that you have a guarantee shows that you are confident in your product. It tells your buyer that you believe in this enough to stand behind it and put your money where your mouth is. This is especially important for higher ticket items because people are investing so much more. The risk is so much higher, and a guarantee of some sort removes that edge. But then again, you may not want to be, refunding these huge amounts, especially when there's a personal service involved. At a bare minimum, a guarantee for those lower ticket items that don't take a lot of personal time investment from you, can help move people from maybe to yes. People want to feel safe, and this is one of the fastest ways to provide that safety net there. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to use it. They just feel more comfortable knowing it's there. Number 3, social proof tools. So we've talked a little bit about kind of showing the testimonials and the results. But when people see others are buying something, it triggers FOMO and also validation, right? If they were on the fence thinking about buying it, seeing that other people are buying it, that can validate that they too are making a good decision. So social proof is incredibly important, even if it isn't a guaranteed trust builder. In fact, a study from the Spiegel Research Center found that products with at least 5 reviews are 270% more likely to convert than those with none. Now, ways that you can set this up, if you don't necessarily have an easy way to review it like you do kind of on a platform like Amazon, there are social notification services like ProofSource. And what they do is they put these little pop-ups at the bottom, or however you design it, say something like, Samantha in Denver just bought this 10 minutes ago. I wanted to take a quick second to tell you about something that can make a huge difference in your business, especially if you have an offer that isn't landing quite like you'd hoped. It's called Offer RX, and it's a fast strategic audit where I review one of your offers and tell you exactly what's not working with it and how to fix it. You'll get a personalized Loom video from me or a document with 3 to 5 high-impact, actionable tweaks that you can make right away. This isn't some vague feedback, it's actual strategy to help you sell more. And right now, it's only $44 through this Friday at 11:59 p.m. Central. After that, the price doubles. So if your offer isn't converting, or if you're second-guessing every headline and call to action, this is the move to make. Head over to marcyrossi.com/offerrx. That's marcyrossi.com/OFFERRX and grab it before it's gone. They're subtle, but they work because it shows that your product is in demand, and it validates that buyer's decision in purchasing this because other people did too, right? It can help nudge them along. It helps create momentum. And this is especially useful for digital products. Now, I personally use ProofSource. There are other options out there like FOMO or Nudgify, but they're all operating on the same principle, which is real-time social evidence builds trust. You can customize it the way you want it with, showing your locations, the timing, the frequency, what kind of details are there. And you can put this in different places, right? You can put this on your sales page, on your checkout pages, or even on your opt-in for your freebie. It doesn't have to necessarily be someone purchased this, but, someone opted into this, or they claimed your X, Y, and Z freebie. But if you don't have sales yet, if you don't have the kind of numbers to support this, don't bother using it at this point. This is something to save in your bank for a later time. But if you've already gotten a few customers, use that to your advantage, right? Build up and let the momentum speak for itself. Number 4, be specific about your offer. One of the quickest ways to kill trust is being totally vague. When people don't know exactly what they're getting, they're going to hesitate. Think about it. Would you buy a mystery box from a stranger online? I mean, honestly, maybe, depending on the price, but let's imagine it's a complete stranger, mystery box, probably not. But if they tell you that it's a box with 3 high-end skincare products, including a moisturizer, a serum, and a lip balm, that's different. So specificity builds trust. Spell out what is they're getting, right? What's included? What's the format? How much access do they get to you? What are the bonuses? Is there a workbook, live calls, text messaging access? Whatever it is, the clearer you are, the safer your buyer feels. Timeframes can help this too, right? You get access immediately, or live calls begin on the 15th. Anything that we're doing to be transparent and let them know exactly what it is that they're getting can help build up trust. Visuals are great too, right? And a mock-up of your product, a screenshot of the member portal, anything to help them visualize it to show that this is a real thing. And as we touched on last week, talk about why they should care, right? Using this tool, you can set up your client onboarding system in 30 minutes, right? That's a result that they can understand. It's clear, it's specific, and it's compelling. Number 5, honestly, has been on my to-do list. It hasn't been done, but it's going to be happening because I know it's important. And that is using video. So if you've been hiding behind Canva stock photos and text posts, this is your sign to get visible. Video builds connection in a way that text never will. And in fact, according to one study from iView, landing pages with video convert up to 80% better. That's insane. And that's because people buy from people. They want to hear your voice. They want to see your face, feel your energy. Now, this doesn't have to be some fancy video in a studio. And honestly, scrappy is often better because it feels more personal. Just a simple welcome video like, hey, I'm Marcy, I'm so glad you're here, and walking them through what exactly they can expect. Keep it short, under 2 minutes, but be real, just like you would if you were having a conversation with someone on a Zoom call. And if you're nervous about it, write a script and practice it a few times. A video sales letter is a script that I give my shortcut clients because I know how important the video can be, either in a sales letter or on a confirmation page after they've purchased, to reassure them that they've made the right decision. The goal here isn't perfection, it's just to get it done, right? We're trying to build familiarity. Familiarity builds trust. Once people feel like they know you, they're way more likely to buy from you. Number 6 is also going to kick back to last week, and that is using plain, clear, human language. The best copy sounds like it's a conversation, not some fancy college essay, and definitely not a ChatGPT convo dump. We're all busy. Your potential clients and customers don't have time to decode fluff. So cut the jargon, start writing like you actually talk. If you wouldn't say a synergistic paradigm shift while talking about your product with a friend in a coffee shop, don't put it on your sales page. Say what it is, say who it's for, say what it won't do. For example, this program is not for you if you're looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, because that kind of honesty is rare and refreshing. And be upfront about the commitment that's involved. Let people know it's expected. Be clear about your pricing, your structure, your timing. Don't hide things. People trust what they understand. So if your offer feels confusing or vague, that's a red flag. Number 7, add a way for people to ask questions. People want to feel seen and heard, and sometimes they just need to ask a specific question before they're ready to buy, and it might not be in your FAQ section. HubSpot found that adding a live chat can increase conversions by 20 to 30%. But you don't have to necessarily install some fancy software on your website. You can still replicate that intimacy by adding a line to your sales page that says, click here to send me a message if you're unsure, or DM me on Instagram with any questions. I'll be honest if this is right for you. Your clients want honesty. They want someone to say, you know what, this actually might not be for you, because that's what's going to earn trust faster than any pitch. You could also do a live FAQ video to answer some of the more common objections, or offer them a short discovery call. It's just a way to make sure that you can answer their personal questions that may be holding them back, and without the answers, they're not going to take that next step. So if you don't provide them an easy way to ask the question, they may see that question has not been answered on the page and just click out. Number 8 is one of my faves, and that is to make it easy to say yes. Your offer should be an easy, no-brainer green light. That means a frictionless checkout. That means obvious and transparent pricing. That means showing your guarantee and not hiding it in your terms and conditions. If they have to dig around to find the price, if they have to click through 3 pages before they can actually get to the cart, you've lost them. Keep it streamlined. The easier it is for people to buy, the faster they'll do it. All right, now I wanted to dive into a few myths that might be silently sabotaging your strategy and explore how each one of these ultimately ties back to the theme of today, which is trust. Myth number one is if people don't buy right away, they're not interested. So many business owners give up too early, and we were actually just talking about that in a mastermind I'm in. One of the women actually posted her results showing that all of her sales kind of came in on that, well, not all, but the majority of her results came in on that last day. It's not because they weren't interested before, they just needed that final push to kind of get over the edge and add to cart. Most people are not instant buyers. They are slow burners who need time, repetition, and safety. So just because someone didn't buy on the first visit on day one doesn't mean they're out. They may be figuring out their money situation, talking to their partner, waiting to get that gut yes. Distractions happen, kids get sick, tech breaks down. It doesn't necessarily mean that they don't value your product the way you do. So that's why it's important to keep showing up consistently with clarity and compassion, nurturing them, because trust is built over time. It's not instantaneous. If you disappear too soon, they're not going to have that chance to build a relationship with you and move forward. Delayed does not mean denied. It's not a no until it's a no. Most of the time, hesitation comes from uncertainty, not necessarily disinterest. And uncertainty is a trust gap. So the more you can close that gap with consistent messaging, with social proof, with presence, the faster we can move that maybe into a yes. The second myth is lowering your price increases conversions. So if you're wondering that people aren't buying maybe because the price is too high and you just want to drop it, I would challenge you to consider whether that's actually the case. Because people associate price with quality, especially for service-based industries. When something is priced lower than it should be, it can actually spark doubt. Like, why is this so cheap? What am I missing here? What's this red flag? So lowering your price can decrease the perceived value. It positions you as a budget option, which isn't always aligned with your brand or the transformation you're hoping to deliver. In fact, a study from Dale Carnegie showed that 71% of respondents would rather buy from someone that they trust over someone who gave them the lowest price. So a better strategy here is to increase your clarity and build on that trust factor. Show them what they're getting, show them the transformation, offer payment plans, offer guarantees, stand behind what your work is worth. Underpricing in order to get conversions sends the wrong message. It attracts people who might not actually be ready to fully commit, and it leads to resentment and burnout from you. You want aligned buyers, not bargain hunters, so trust your pricing. Instead, let your integrity, your transparency, and your value proposition build the trust with people, the right people. And number 3, we touched on this just a little bit earlier, but the myth is that people read your entire page. They don't. They skim it. They are looking for headlines, text, images, and so you have to earn their attention. Use subheadings to call out the benefits, break up big chunks of text, use bullet points, repeat yourself, right? They're not reading the whole thing, so the fact that you've said it once before doesn't mean you don't want to show it again. Include testimonials throughout. That's what we talked about with the social proof, that it doesn't necessarily only have to be at the bottom of the page. They can be sprinkled throughout the page. That way you have a better chance of catching them. Add your guarantee more than once. Make sure that your call to action is shown multiple times. Use design to reinforce what's important and what they should be looking at. So if we assume that people are only going to see maybe 30% of your copy, we need to make sure that it's the right 30%. So focus on clarity over trying to be clever and funny. If people are skimming, we need to be able to build trust at a glance. That means every headline, every testimonial, every graphic needs to reinforce your credibility and instill confidence in you. So spread that trust throughout your page like breadcrumbs. All right, you know what time it is now. It's your Thrive in 5. So here are 5 actions that you can take right now to build more trust into your current offer. Now, you don't have to go and do all 5. I can tell you which one is on my list, but if your conversions aren't as high as they should be, it's probably a sign that your landing page could use some more trust builders like these. And those 5 are, number 1, go into your DMs or your text messages or your past emails and screenshot one piece of feedback and go add it to your sales page or opt-in page. Number 2, if you don't already have a guarantee and you're willing to put one on, write a simple guarantee in your own voice and put it on your page. Number 3, sign up for a social proof notification service like ProofSource and get it set up on your sales page or opt-in page. And remember, make sure that you already have data flowing because that's what it's going to rely on. So if you don't yet have the conversions that you need to to build these notifications, save that one for later. Number 4 is the one that's on my list, and that is record a 60-second video explaining who your offer is for and put it on your landing page or on your Instagram highlights if you're on social media. And number 5 is offer them a way to get in contact with you. Maybe you're adding a call to action in your emails that say, have questions, hit reply, or you're putting a line on your sales page, asking them to DM you if they want an honest answer, if this is the right thing for them, or add a chat function to your website, some way for them to reach out and to give you that opportunity to answer any doubts that they may have. They're small, easy steps, but they create huge ripple effects because trust is what turns lurkers into buyers. It's what makes someone feel safe enough to actually take action and invest in you. So if your offer isn't converting the way you hoped, we don't need to jump to discounts. We're going to start with trust. And if you want help doing that, if you want a second set of eyes on your offer or someone to help you fine tune your messaging, you know where to find me. I love this stuff, and I have started offering offer audits where I will actually go through your page and tell you the kinds of things that are stopping people from converting. The details for that are in the show notes. Other than that, thank you for hanging out with me today. Now go build something amazing, and I will catch you next time on Thrivers Ed. Until then, keep thriving.